The False Alliance. Commander Eliza Chen stood motionless on the observation deck of the ESS Discovery, Earth's first deep space exploration vessel. The stars stretched out before her, infinite and cold. Below her, the crew worked with practiced efficiency, but she could sense their unease. They had ventured farther than any human had before, and the silence of space felt more oppressive with each passing day. "Commander," Lieutenant Reyes called from the communications station. "We're detecting an anomaly at coordinates 227 Mark 43. Chen turned, her expression carefully neutral. "Define anomaly, Lieutenant." "Energy readings unlike anything in our database. It's massive." Before Chen could respond, the space before them warped. The crew gasped as a vessel materialized, if you could call it that. The structure resembled a series of crystalline rings, rotating in impossible configurations around a core of pulsing blue light. It dwarfed the Discovery by at least 20 times. "Open all frequencies," Chen ordered, her voice steady despite the hammering of her heart. "This is Commander Eliza Chen of the Earth Spaceship Discovery. We come in peace." The response came not through their communication systems, but directly into their minds, a melodic voice that somehow conveyed both warmth and ancient power. "We have been watching your kind, Eliza Chen of Earth. You have reached the threshold. We are the Galactic Union." Within hours, humanity's entire understanding of the universe changed. The Galactic Union consisted of 17 advanced species that had governed the cosmos for millennia. The crystalline vessel belonged to the Luminae, the oldest member race and de facto leaders of the Union. Ambassador Villar, a Luminae whose translucent body shimmered with internal light, addressed the United Earth Council a week later. The meeting took place in the Grand Assembly Hall in Geneva, broadcast to billions across the planet. "For centuries, we have observed your development," Villar explained, his voice a mesmerizing hum. "Your species has surpassed our expectations. You have overcome internal divisions and reached for the stars despite your biological limitations. The Union extends an invitation to join our alliance." President Sarah Okafor, representing a unified Earth government, asked the question on everyone's mind. "What does this alliance entail?" Villar's body pulsed with golden light. "Knowledge, protection, access to technologies you cannot yet imagine, medical advances that will eliminate disease, energy systems that will end scarcity. In exchange, we ask only that you follow Union protocols and contribute your unique perspectives to our collective." The offer seemed too generous, but extensive verification confirmed the Union's claims. Their technology was centuries beyond Earth's understanding. Within 3 months, Union medical stations had cured terminal cancer in thousands of patients. Their energy converters transformed Earth's power grid, eliminating fossil fuel dependency virtually overnight. Chen, promoted to Admiral and Earth's military liaison to the Union, worked closely with the alien representatives. She found most of them genuinely interested in humanity, particularly the Kilari, squid-like beings who specialized in art and cultural exchange, and the Dorvesi, reptilian engineers who admired human technological creativity. "Your species adapts so quickly," said Tovar, a Dorvesi engineer who worked with Chen on upgrading Earth's defensive systems. "What took other species generations, you accomplish in decades." Chen accepted the compliment with a smile, but something in Tovar's tone nagged at her. Was it admiration or concern? 5 years into the alliance, Earth had transformed. Union technology had eliminated poverty, hunger, and most disease. Humans had established colonies on Mars, Europa, and even distant Titan. Union vessels ferried humans to other star systems, where they established diplomatic and trade relationships with alien civilizations. Dr. Marcus Wong, head of the Union Human Joint Research Division, became a global celebrity for his work combining human innovation with Union technology. His recent breakthrough in quantum neural networks promised to revolutionize artificial intelligence. "The Union gives us the tools," Wong told reporters, but they're continually surprised by how we use them. Not everyone embraced the partnership so enthusiastically. Intelligence officer Zora Curry maintained a healthy skepticism about the Union's motives. Her department, quietly established by President Okafor, monitored all Union activities on Earth and throughout human territory. "Something's off," Curry told Chen during one of their classified meetings. "Have you noticed how they compartmentalize information? How certain research areas are subtly discouraged?" Chen had noticed. Despite the technological renaissance, Union advisors steered humans away from specific scientific pursuits, particularly faster-than-light drive innovation and certain areas of quantum physics. "They claim it's for safety," Chen said, "that these technologies require evolutionary safeguards we haven't developed yet." Curry tapped her datapad, revealing a complex analysis. "I've been tracking approval rates for human research proposals. Projects that might lead to independent human advancement have an 82% rejection rate. They want us dependent." Admiral. The evidence accumulated slowly but steadily. Union observers increasingly inserted themselves into human governance. Technology transfers became more selective. Union vessels maintained continuous presence around human colonies, ostensibly for protection. Admiral Chen began quiet preparations. She accelerated training for space combat pilots and established hidden weapons caches throughout the solar system. Dr. Wang, now part of their circle of concern, diverted resources to develop technologies the Union didn't monitor, including a revolutionary communication system that couldn't be intercepted. 7 years into the alliance, Curry made a breakthrough. She had managed to decode a partial transmission between Union vessels. Human development rate exceeds acceptable parameters. The message read, "Primary Council recommends implementation of Containment Protocol Theta." 2 days later, they discovered what Containment Protocol Theta meant. Union ships arrived en masse, hundreds materializing around Earth and each human colony. Ambassador Viller requested an emergency session with President Okafor and her cabinet. "Humanity has progressed rapidly," Viller began, his crystalline body pulsing with deep red tones rather than his usual gold. "Too rapidly. The Union has determined that unrestricted human advancement poses a destabilizing risk to galactic harmony." The terms were presented not as a request, but as a mandate. Earth would surrender control of its military forces. All research would require Union approval. Human expansion would halt at the current boundaries. Any technology that could potentially threaten Union supremacy would be prohibited. "This is not a partnership," President Okafor said, her voice tight with controlled fury. "This is subjugation." Viller's light dimmed. "It is the only way to maintain balance. You will comply or face consequences." Admiral Chen, present for this meeting, watched as the facade of benevolence fell away. The Union had never seen humans as equals, merely as useful, potentially dangerous primitives to be controlled. President Okafor called for an immediate recess. In a secure bunker beneath Geneva, Earth's leadership convened an emergency session. "They'd been planning this from the beginning," Curry stated. "The aid, the technology. It was to make us dependent and complacent." Dr. Wang nodded gravely. "The question is, do we have any leverage to negotiate better terms?" Admiral Chen pulled up tactical displays showing the Union fleet positions. "Negotiation isn't an option. They've positioned warships around every human settlement. This is a military occupation." President Okafor surveyed the grim faces around her. "Options. We have 3, Chen replied. "Surrender and live as second-class beings under their control. Fight, and likely perish, or execute Protocol Lazarus." Protocol Lazarus was the contingency that Chen, Curry, and Wang had developed in secret, a desperate gamble based on the Union's few observable weaknesses and humanity's hidden strengths. "The odds of success?" asked the president. "Slim," admitted Chen, "but better than 0. And either way, we go down fighting for our future, not living without one." Okafor closed her eyes briefly, shouldering the weight of humanity's fate. When she opened them, her decision was made. Initiate Lazarus. Transmit the refusal. The response came within hours. A Union battleship targeted the small research outpost on Deimos, Mars's smaller moon. The installation housed only 200 scientists and their families. The energy beam that struck it vaporized the entire moon, leaving nothing but scattered particles. On view screens across Earth and the colonies, Ambassador Villar appeared. This demonstration was regrettable but necessary. Humanity must understand the consequences of defiance. You have 24 hours to surrender all military assets and accept Union governance. As the transmission ended, panic erupted worldwide. Riots broke out in major cities. Military personnel rushed to their stations. Civilians prepared for a war they couldn't possibly win. In her command center aboard the orbital defense platform Aegis, Admiral Chen watched the chaos with a cold clarity. Their plan relied on precise timing and the element of surprise, both now compromised by the Union's show of force. They're expecting immediate capitulation, Kari said, joining Chen at the tactical display. They don't understand human nature at all. Chen nodded. That's about the only advantage we have. She opened a secure channel to President Okafor. Madam President, request permission to execute Lazarus Alpha. On the screen, Okafor's face was resolute. Granted, Admiral. God help us all. Chen turned to her communications officer. Send the message to all human forces. Authentication code Thermopylae. Across the solar system, hidden installations activated. Dormant systems came online. Every Union transmission was suddenly jammed by quantum interference patterns developed by Dr. Wang's team. And on Earth, President Okafor addressed humanity. Citizens of Earth and her colonies, the Galactic Union has shown its true intentions. They came as friends but revealed themselves as conquerors. They offered partnership but demanded servitude. They underestimated humanity's resolve. Her voice strengthened as she continued. For years, we have prepared for this possibility. Even as we accepted their gifts, we developed our own strength. Even as we smiled at their ambassadors, we readied our defenses. We will not surrender our independence. We will not become vassals in our own home. On the Aegis platform, Admiral Chen watched as her forces moved into position. The first phase of Protocol Lazarus was underway, a desperate gambit against overwhelming odds. The Galactic Union had betrayed Earth, and soon they would learn the terrible price of that betrayal. All ships, prepare for combat operations, Chen ordered. Execute Lazarus Alpha. Now. Humanity's defiance. The Union fleet opened fire simultaneously, targeting Earth's orbital defenses. Energy beams lanced through space, striking the Aegis platform and other military installations. Explosions bloomed in silence against the black backdrop of space. Admiral Chen steadied herself as the station shuddered under the assault. Damage report. Shields at 42% and falling. Lieutenant Reyes responded, but they're holding better than expected. That was the first surprise for the Union forces. The shields protecting human installations weren't the ones they had provided. They were enhanced versions, secretly developed by Dr. Wang's team using principles the Union thought humans couldn't grasp. Execute Defense Pattern Omega, Chen ordered, and activate the Phoenix arrays. Across the solar system, concealed installations powered up. These were humanity's secret weapons, quantum displacement generators that created localized distortions in spacetime. They couldn't match Union firepower, but they could disrupt their targeting systems and communications. On the Union command vessel, Ambassador Villar observed the battle with growing concern. Their defenses are more advanced than our intelligence suggested. Fleet Commander Zoltar, a member of the militant Valkyrie species, dismissed the concern. They're merely delaying the inevitable. Increase power to the main batteries and target their population centers. They'll surrender when their civilians are threatened. As Union vessels adjusted their formation to target Earth directly, Admiral Chen gave the signal. Activate Phoenix Prime. Dr. Wang, positioned in a hidden facility beneath the lunar surface, initiated the sequence. The device before him, the culmination of 5 years of clandestine research, hummed to life. It didn't look impressive. A spherical chamber containing suspended quantum particles, glowing with soft blue light. But its effect was immediate and devastating. Throughout the Union fleet, systems failed. Ships drifted out of formation. Weapons powered down. Communications ceased. "What's happening?" demanded Zoltar as his command console went dark. Weiler's crystalline body dimmed in shock. "Impossible. They've generated a quantum field that's disrupting our neural tech interface." Most Union technology relied on a direct connection between their biological neural patterns and their systems, a sophisticated approach that humanity had supposedly been unable to understand, let alone counter. Yet somehow, the humans had developed a weapon that specifically targeted this vulnerability. In the momentary confusion, humanity struck back. Hidden missile platforms emerged from concealed positions in the asteroid belt and lunar craters. They launched not conventional warheads, but EMP-like devices specifically calibrated to the Union ship's energy signatures. Admiral Chen watched grimly as the first wave took effect. Nearly a third of the Union fleet was disabled, drifting helplessly. "All squadrons, execute attack pattern Delta," she commanded. "Target their command vessels, Earth's fighters." Small, agile craft piloted by humans rather than AI swarmed toward the Union's larger ships. Their tactics were unpredictable, different from the calculated maneuvers Union forces trained against. They exploited blind spots in the alien vessel's design, attacking from angles the Union engineers had never considered vulnerable. In her command center on Mars Colony, Intelligence Officer Kauri monitored a different kind of battle. Using Dr. Wong's untraceable communication system, she coordinated a network of human agents who had infiltrated Union installations throughout human space. "Team Epsilon, execute now," she ordered. On Europa, a maintenance technician placed a small device on a Union power relay. On the orbital station circling Titan, a human diplomat accidentally spilled a vial of engineered microbes into a ventilation system. Throughout Union-controlled facilities, humans who had appeared compliant revealed themselves as resistance operatives. The Union's perfect coordination began to fracture as systems failed, communication broke down, and unexpected sabotage created chaos. But the aliens still held overwhelming firepower. As their initial shock faded, they adapted. Secondary systems came online. The Phoenix effect began to weaken as Union engineers developed countermeasures. Their regrouping, warned Admiral Chen's tactical officer, estimate full recovery of their combat capabilities in 15 minutes. Once that happened, Earth's defense would crumble. The Phoenix device had been their one significant advantage, and it couldn't be sustained indefinitely. Chen opened a secured channel to Dr. Wong. "Status of Phoenix secondary. Online but untested," Wong replied, his face tense on the screen. "We don't know if it will work or for how long." "We're out of options," Chen said. "Initiate when ready." On the lunar facility, Wong nodded to his team. They activated the second phase of Project Phoenix, not a weapon, but a communication system unlike any humanity had developed before. Deep in Union territory, far from the battle, the luminous scientist named Ziller monitored the conflict with growing dismay. Like many Union citizens, he had questions about the Council's decision to subjugate humanity. He had worked with humans, admired their creativity, their passion. The containment protocol seemed unnecessarily harsh. As he watched the data streams, something unprecedented happened. A signal reached him, not through any Union channel, but directly into his mind, in perfect Lumine thought patterns. "We know there are those among you who question this war. We are not your enemy. We seek partnership, not conquest. Help us end this conflict before more lives are lost." Similar messages reached thousands of Union citizens across multiple species. Dr. Wong's team had spent years studying Union neural patterns and had developed a way to communicate directly with them, bypassing official channels. The message spread like wildfire through Union communication networks. On the command vessel, Voilar received reports of growing dissent among the Union population. Several ships had broken formation, refusing to fire on human targets. The Kilari contingent had withdrawn entirely, citing ethical concerns. "This is unauthorized communication." Zoltar raged. "Block it immediately." "I cannot," replied the communication officer. "It's not using any system we control." The humans had achieved what the Union thought impossible: direct neural interface with alien biology. It was precisely the kind of advancement the containment protocol had been designed to prevent. As confusion spread through the Union fleet, Admiral Chen launched the final phase of humanity's defense. Hidden within Jupiter's orbit, a small flotilla of experimental ships activated their engines. These vessels, incorporating modified Union technology with human innovations, moved with a speed and maneuverability that shocked the alien observers. They targeted the Union's command ships with surgical precision, using weapons specifically designed to penetrate their defenses. One by one, the vessels coordinating the attack were disabled. In the chaos, a transmission cut through all channels. It was President Okafor, addressing not just humanity but the entire Union. "We did not want this conflict. We valued the knowledge and friendship offered by the Galactic Union. But we cannot and will not surrender our independence or our potential. If partnership means subjugation, then it is no partnership at all." Her words reached Union citizens across multiple worlds, reinforced by the direct neural communication developed by Dr. Wang. Reports flooded in of protests on Union worlds, of ships refusing orders, of growing demands for the Council to negotiate. Fleet Commander Zoltar refused to yield. "Continue the attack. Target their planet directly." But his order went unheeded. Captain Rallas of the Dorvasi contingent openly rejected the command. "This conflict was based on fear, not reason. I will not participate in genocide." One by one, Union vessels powered down their weapons. Some withdrew entirely. Others opened communication channels with human forces, seeking ceasefire terms. Ambassador Voilar, seeing the collapse of Union unity, made a decision. He opened a direct channel to President Okafor. "This conflict has revealed much about humans, but also about the Union. Perhaps it is time for dialogue, not dominance." 26 hours after the first shots were fired, the battle for Earth ended not with humanity's extinction or subjugation, but with an unprecedented situation: a forced renegotiation between supposedly primitive humans and the ancient Galactic Union. The aftermath transformed both sides. For humanity, the victory came at great cost. Thousands had died. Infrastructure was heavily damaged, but they had proven themselves not just worthy of respect, but capable of challenging the mightiest power in the galaxy. For the Union, the crisis sparked internal reform. The Council's decision to contain humanity had exposed underlying tensions about governance and autonomy. Several member species, led by the Kilari and Dorvasi, demanded changes to the Union structure. 6 months after the battle, a new treaty was signed. Earth would join the Galactic Union not as a subjugated race, but as a full member with equal rights. Human innovation would no longer be contained but channeled into collaborative projects for mutual benefit. Admiral Chen stood beside President Okafor at the signing ceremony, watching as Ambassador Voilar, now part of a reformed Union Council that included representatives from all member species, affixed his signature to the document. "You fought brilliantly," Voilar told Chen privately after the ceremony. "But what truly defeated us wasn't your weapons. It was your unity, your adaptability, your refusal to accept limitations." Chen smiled thinly. "That's the thing about humans, Ambassador. We don't believe in no-win scenarios." Dr. Wang's breakthrough in interspecies neural communication became the foundation for a new era of galactic cooperation. Intelligence Officer Cowardly established a Joint Security Council to prevent future conflicts based on misunderstanding or fear. Earth, once a small blue dot on the edge of an unremarkable galaxy, became a center for innovation and diplomacy. Human colonies expanded throughout nearby systems, bringing their unique perspective to regions long dominated by Union traditionalism. 5 years after the battle, the Phoenix Memorial was unveiled in orbit above Earth. It commemorated those lost in the conflict, but also symbolized humanity's rebirth as a galactic power. The monument included contributions from all Union species, a physical representation of new understanding. Admiral Chen, now retired from military service, but serving as Earth's representative to the reformed Union Council, often visited the memorial. Today, she stood before the eternal flame that burned at its center, remembering those who had sacrificed everything for humanity's future. Illumine approached, its crystalline body glowing with gentle blue light. Zilar, the scientist who had been among the first to question the containment protocol. "You know," he said, his thoughts translating seamlessly through the neural interface developed by Dr. Wong. "Many in the Union believed humans would destroy themselves before reaching the stars. Others feared you would become conquerors. None predicted this outcome." "Which is?" Chen asked. "That you would change us as much as we changed you. That your resistance would lead not to isolation or domination, but to genuine partnership." Chen gazed out at the stars visible through the memorial's transparent dome. Earth gleamed below them, still bearing scars from the battle but healing, growing. "The Union tried to contain us because they feared what we might become," she said. "They never considered that what we might become was exactly what the galaxy needed." Ziller's light pulsed in agreement. The old council sought to maintain the established order at all costs. They saw your potential as a threat. Now we understand it as an opportunity. Throughout human space and beyond, the legacy of the conflict shaped a new galactic reality. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not by conquest or submission, but by standing firm when threatened and offering partnership even to those who had betrayed them. The Galactic Union had betrayed Earth, and as predicted, they had paid the price, not through destruction, but through transformation. The very qualities they had feared in humanity, adaptability, innovation, determination, had become the foundation for a stronger, more equitable galactic community. As Chen continued her conversation with Zular, ships of all designs passed by the memorial. Union vessels with human modifications, human ships incorporating alien technology, and entirely new designs created through genuine collaboration. The betrayal had nearly destroyed humanity. Instead, it had unleashed its greatest potential, and the universe would never be the same.